Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, this is Down the Rabbit Hole with James and Andrea, coming to you with another interview series, this time with candidate for Hernando County Commissioner, Mr. Marvin Baynham, and his family.
Welcome.
Hey,
hi, guys.
everybody. I can't. Marvin, how's your sound over there?
It's good. How y'all doing?
Here we go.
All right. Hey, family.
Perfect.
Can
Hey,
they hear
guys.
us?
Yeah, they can hear. Say hey, y'all.
Introduce your family to the world.
So this is my baby boy Malachi. Wait, say hi, buddy.
Hello, Malachi.
Say hi.
Hi.
And this is my baby girl Mia. Say hi, Mimi.
Hi, Mimi.
Yeah, later. Love you.
We like to have fun over here.
I love you, bud.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you for meeting with us, Marvin. We're so happy to get this done.
Finally,
And-
I've been waiting for this.
Right. It's the
problem.
final push, and I think this is the best time for it.
Right.
Yeah, and thank you guys so much for having on. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So, we've been hitting the road hard too, right, Andrea?
Yeah.
Andrea is actually a volunteer for the county, and
Oh, yeah?
she's
I'm at the polls doing the ballots.
she's doing the ballots and
Yeah,
she's
good job.
getting out there and interacting with the community and seeing the people coming in to vote.
Oh, there's a lot. There's been a lot of people. I'm excited to see what the turnout's going to be on Tuesday.
Yeah, we need a big turnout this election
Yeah.
cycle. We really do.
Yep, and election day is this Tuesday, and there's 6 locations, I believe, in the county where everybody can vote. We've got that
Well,
post.
for election day is 37 actually.
37.
38.
Okay.
Early
No,
vote had about five locations, but election day has 38 locations.
You know what
Yeah.
we'll do, Marvin? We will put a link to the elections office on the show so people can click on it and find where they can go vote if they're confused.
Absolutely. Great.
All righty. So yeah, Andrea, you were there the other day, and how was the reaction of the people that have worked there? To how many people were actually showing up?
They were already expecting it to be a few people, but over the last couple days of early voting, a lot of people were showing up. So, and they were pretty surprised by the numbers. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, that's exciting. That's good to know.
I think everybody communicating. I think a lot of the groups that are out there that are sharing all this information is doing a lot of good info going out there to the community.
Absolutely. Marvin, this is the most hyped campaign we've seen in Hernando County in a long time.
Absolutely. I agree.
Mr. Marvin threw a chink in their chain, I think.
Yeah. He came full force. But when we first met you, we met you at the
was it the Hernando County Fair?
No, it was the park. The park cleanup.
Oh, it was with the cleanup with the United Way.
Mhm.
Yep. And from the first time we spoke, like everything that you speak of is everything that the community, has questions about and is passionate about. And I think it's important for somebody who's going to be running for commissioner that they have the same passion the community has,
Yeah, and I think in Hernando County, our challenge is even larger because typically elected officials believe that policy and ordinance is the only thing that truly affects the community. But from my vantage point in life, I think it extends far beyond that. And we have to become immersed in the community and really, really show the people in the community that we are with them in these tough times. It's one thing to just sit on a board and say, yeah, you're not struggling, but go spend time with people, go sit in these communities and really understand and really feel what they're going through. I think there's no better way to get a speech than doing it that way.
Absolutely.
That's a very good point.
Going into that, what are some of the responsibilities that the county commissioner has?
So essentially what the county commission does, they set policy and ordinance regarding Hernando County, and they also set the budget. And they are in charge of the county administrator and the county attorney. And then the county administrator sets all the other roles and duties and senior leadership teams for the rest of the county.
So the administrator job's an important job, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who's doing that job now?
Jeff Rogers is our county administrator.
Jeff Rogers. We'll have to
And are they're not elected, they're hired in, right?
Appointed, yeah.
Appointed. And who appoint? Is it a vote amongst the members?
Yep, the board of county commissioners, select the county administrator.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
Maybe we got to look into that, see if there's a rabbit hole there.
So when you say budgets, is that as far as like repairs to like the county roads and
what type of budgeting?
Yeah.
So everything that involves Hernando County's budget, as far as the roads, infrastructure, parks and rec, utilities, every single department, essentially, the tax collector, supervisor of elections, the clerk, the court, all these other constitutional offices, the sheriff, are all under the umbrella of the county's budget.
Okay.
Wow, lots of responsibility.
Yeah.
And they also, as far as development goes, what is their oversight on development?
So the county commissioners vote on the zoning for these specific, we'll call it properties, land use. We call it land use. They vote on the zoning and the rezoning of land use of these properties. So say, for instance, if you had a property, James had a property, and he wanted to develop it as a multifamily development property. James would present the plans to, first it goes through planning and zoning, which the planning and zoning members are appointed. Each planning and zoning member is appointed by a board of county commissioner. So I think they have 5 and then 2 alternates, something like that. And then it goes to planning and zoning. Planning and zoning reviews the application. And then from there, planning and zoning makes a recommendation. And 30 days after they go to planning and zoning, it now goes before the board of county commissioners. And then the board of county commissioners, based on, our 2040 comprehensive plan, which is the legislative document for land use in Hernando County, they make a decision to approve or deny the project.
Wow. That was a very in-depth answer. I appreciate that, Marvin.
Yeah.
So essentially, if somebody, let's say the corner of Spring Hill Drive and California Street, the pasture area, that guy decides to sell to an offshore company, and the offshore company comes to you guys and says, "Hey, I want to take this agriculture land and turn it commercial."
Right.
You guys essentially have the yay or nay.
Yes, sir. Yep.
What are your thoughts on denying these types of requests?
So one thing we have to be mindful of is the constitutional right of property owners. Property owners have rights, and we should respect that, right? But I think it's also, we have a responsibility to the 2040 comprehensive plan, as well as the community. So what type of growth in trajectory are we going to experience in Hernando County? And every decision that's made from the board of county commissioners will have a effect later. So say, for instance, if we did approve a commercial, if we rezoned it to commercial on that land, now we have Nature Coast and Nature Coast, a school in front of there, and we have other surrounding areas that are now going to be affected. So essentially, you're blending a residential area with a commercial area. And then how will that impact our infrastructure? How will that impact the traffic? How will that impact all these other things you have to consider when you vote on these applications? And I think every situation is, it's unique, but having all those factors in mind, making your decision, I think, is the best way to do it.
Now, when they when the county commissioners discuss things and, as far as development goes, do you guys take into account like a time span of like over 10 years? How will the infrastructure be affected? Do you guys have a time span of how far out you guys look into how that affects it?
So that plan is the 2040 plan. It was supposed to be designed with those metrics and factors already infused into the plan.
Okay.
And that's why it's best as possible they try to follow it. But sometimes it gets blurred out of the lines. You know, you approve some things, you deny some things. But yeah, I think you should be considering, because right now we have about 47% of our land is actually protected state land, which is a good thing. But so we're now condensed to this other 50% of land that we have, and that land is developed. The infrastructure is not adequate, and we're continuing to add on top of that. Then we are proposing a 1% tax for 29 years for the to fund infrastructure needs, which I think a 29-year tax is absolutely too long. On top of these tough economic challenges, our citizens cannot afford even, and they say, you know, it's just $50 maximum amounts, you know, just $5, $5. Well, if you on fixed income and you are a single income household, you can't afford $5 extra nowhere.
Right.
You know, so I think that's why I say being in tune with the residents and really understanding how these little incremental increases really affect like normal people. And I mean, I've been to all throughout this county. I've been to $1 million homes. I've been to homes with half the floors missing. And that range of communicating and understanding each individual economic class that Hernando County possesses, I think we need to understand that more and value that and factor that every decision we make.
I do have one more question on
Go ahead,
that.
hit 'em.
So I noticed in Spring Hill area ever since I've lived here, we've had sinkholes and things like that. Now, when development happens, do you guys look back at areas that could have flooding issues, sinkhole issues, and things before you guys approve, development in those type of areas? Do you guys take those things into account?
Yeah, so everything goes through the application process. You meet with each individual department, and you kind of get a check based on how you move through the process. So majority of those things are already vetted and already kind of. So once it gets to the Board of County Commissioners, it's pretty much like every step has been gone through. You know.
Awesome. Okay.
At that point.
Awesome, thanks, Marvin. You're killing it, man. Whoa!
I try to do my research and do my homework on all these things. So when I come up, most people say, "Oh, you're you never been into politics. You're not knowledgeable. You can't do this job." And I say to them that our founding fathers didn't intend for this to be career politicians. They intended for normal people like yourself and I to be informed in your community, to be active and involved, and to go represent your community. Your neighbor can serve you better. Who will serve you better than your neighbor?
Right.
Seasoned people who are groomed to go to higher levels and higher offices. No, we need James and Andrea to be our representatives in our community, because who's going to have our best interest at heart than us?
They don't want to hear what I got to say, Marvin.
I encourage all residents in this community to step up and go run for office.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like that. We're all representatives, right?
Absolutely. And we're essentially what we are as stakeholders too. Just imagine if we were a large corporation such as Apple, Google. Are you going to listen to your stockholders? Google's listen to the stockholders. Apple listen to the stockholders. We are, as the residents of Hernando County, are stakeholders in basically an enterprise with $897 million is our budget. So it's your tax dollars, it's my tax dollars.
97 million.
We have say.
And you would think, oh, that's a lot of money, but when you have all the things that has to be regulated and put it out,
$20 million bridge.
It was fast.
So Marvin, you brought up the citizens of Hernando County, and they've been clamoring with questions, and you've gone through all kinds of crazy smear campaigns. So we're just gonna go ahead and address the elephant in the room. And a lot of people they don't understand what's going on with this signature issue and this whole, I believe it's Amendment 4 and abortion rights and all of that stuff. So we're going to give you an opportunity to clear the air, explain everything that's going on with that, and offer an honest response to the community, not in a Facebook post or a comment, coming man himself. So let's hear what's going on with all this, because people.
So essentially, when this situation first arose, our campaign contracted legal counsel to basically navigate us through the situation. And, while it's under investigation, we can't say certain things, but I could provide my stance on what I believe in as far as abortion. So I'm unapologetically pro-life, as you just seen my two beautiful kids. And essentially what this tactic was done to do was just to create distrust amongst the community with myself. And I believe that the whole thing was, even if you look at, so I got contacted by this website, and the website the next day published an article says Marvin Baynham, GOP candidate, just pro-abortion. And then essentially they send the Hernando County Sheriff to my house. Never contacted me. No one ever contacted me, say, hey, do you have an attorney? Do you need any help? Never contacted me, right? I had legal counsel. So sent the Hernando County Sheriff to my house. They basically came and said, hey, we got an investigation and we want to know your questions. My attorney, I'd say, hey, I have an attorney and I will not like to further comment at this time. Sent them on the way. The next day, it's another article posted by another website saying Marvin Baynham is investigated by being under investigation by Hernando County Sheriff. So I'm just saying, from all these little tactics, is just, and you look at it on a national level. Look how many cases Trump been going through all over this country. It's basically political capital used to discredit a candidate, And what I would like to see going forward and through politics in general is run on your own record and run on your own merit.
Right.
Everything, this whole campaign has been what Marvin Baynham isn't, right? We haven't been here what my opponent is. And that should be the red flag for the people.
Absolutely.
You've been living in this county for 8 years and you understand, you've been seeing everything. You don't need this glossy mailer to show up to tell you about why Marvin Baynham should represent you. And these political action committees, and it's happening all throughout the 67 counties in Florida, they are attacking grassroots candidates, trying to basically discredit them and create distrust among the low information voters, and to cause dissent amongst the community to say, oh no, we shouldn't trust them. But meanwhile, the taxes have been rising. You have been experiencing failing infrastructure. The community and the people in the community don't have any say. They will tell you to not trust Marvin Baynham. But Marvin Baynham has been, I would go on the record to say, I've been a hardworking cricket in this campaign.
Yeah, I agree.
I've been to every community event. I've been doing everything in my power to prove this.
Guys, he stood out in the sun for hours, meeting guests at restaurants, standing in the drive-through at fast food restaurants, meeting people, going out to the park,
everything. And this has been relentlessly for over 365 days. I've been hitting the pavement. I go to duty, I get off duty, I come home, I kiss my kids, kiss my wife, I go campaign. I come home, 8 o'clock at night, take a shower, get some food, wake up the next morning, do the same thing. Wake up, go to work. And I've been repeating that for the whole year straight.
Marvin, let me say something too, and people could, not everybody's going to get to see you in a personal situation. But me and Andrea have had the honor of meeting you, your family, your wife, your kids. And you guys and all you viewers out there, y'all know you could tell people and who they are,
absolutely,
on how their family conducts themselves. And I'm sorry to tell y'all that whatever misconceptions you might have of this man, he's got a beautiful family. Him and his wife are extremely intelligent. Their kids are well behaved. You can see when you look at the way Marvin looks at his wife, you wish that you had a relationship like that.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. So
absolutely,
my hat off to you for just being a good man in general.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. I think it's been, and like, my passion stemmed from, my whole life, I just love people and really just, I serve in the fire department, serve the community. And I just thought that our local leaders can do a lot better job of truly committing to the community and showing them that we care. This has become a lost art amongst government overall. And it's up to we, the people, to restore the order. Like, our leaders or representatives should be, I mean, fully, we should almost know them on a first name basis, like really intimate, really close with them, because they should be around so much.
Right.
But we've allowed them to be lazy and allowed them to, not do the duties and uphold the standard. And that's why we got so far away. But we need to bring that back. We need to bring that back.
Absolutely. Well, there was one question that some people had, and in regards to your conversion to Republican.
Yeah.
How you went from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party.
And before you answer, for the viewers out there, I want everybody to know I used to be a Democrat. I worked for the Obama campaign in 2007 and 2008. So I'm responsible for a lot of damage in this country, and I have converted to the right side, and we're seeing millions of people converting from Democrat to Republican. And I want to explain how my conversion happened. And then Marvin, you can talk about yours. Yep. And Andre, you were considered yourself a Democrat too back then, huh?
Well, no, not really.
No?
I didn't really consider myself.
She didn't do anything. I was gonna say she wasn't even.
I wasn't interested. We've had this conversation where I wasn't. Just the last couple of years, I've become interested in it, and it wasn't. I didn't care, to be honest.
You were indifferent. Yeah. But Marvin, I saw. Mine was. I started making more money. I started doing better in life, and I started having to oversee other people. And when I started to see policies were affecting my employees through healthcare, and honestly, it was when Obamacare happened, and when I saw my employees' healthcare just get shattered because of Obamacare, and then all the big corporations going from full-time to part-time to keep from giving people healthcare. Like that was what started my eye-opening experience to, oh my God, I'm a Republican. So everybody's like, and listen, I'm gonna address another elephant in the room, and you could hit on both of these points, because these smear campaigns are real funny to me, because you're the only candidate that's been getting smeared. You're the only candidate that they've been putting commercials together for, and ads and mailers and all of that
for Tallahassee, all this. I'm like, wow, they're getting involved. I was shocked.
Right. And it's just real from a citizen's point of view, from an outsider's point of view, and from a minority's point of view. To me, I'm sitting here and I'm watching all this campaign stuff happening, and I'm like, why are they only messing with the black guy? Like, and it's real evident that in their character, it's easier to pick on you because they're gonna maybe, I don't know, rile up the good old boys, or pander to that people that might be okay with judging somebody by the color of their skin. But I haven't seen shit gone towards Ryan Amsler.
They did start that at the end.
Yeah.
At the end, I did start seeing little.
And Steve Champion and everybody else. It's like, let's get real over here. They're picking on one man.
Yeah.
Out of many. And from the public's point of view, it's not right. It's not cool. I'm not down with it. It's distasteful. And, you want to talk about integrity. The guy you're running against said he was only going to work for 2 terms. Yeah. He was going to uphold term limits himself. And what? Now he's running for a 3rd term.
So that's a lie.
It's a big lie. So, Marvin, your conversion from Democrat to Republican and the smear campaigns. Let's hear your thoughts.
So essentially, right, I was pretty much apolitical, right? I was just like Andre, and not really involved, didn't really know. But like you said, once I became a homeowner, once I started earning more money at work, started different conversation, different things started to affect me. Policy really started to affect me in my life, right? That's when I really started to say, okay, what is this politics stuff is about, right? So it made me go all the way back to the beginning and understand why are one ethnicity, which the black community, why are the black community just strictly Democrat? Like, what happened? There's something wrong here, right? So I went all the way back to the beginning, 1865. The Party of Lincoln started. The Democrats 100% opposed abolishing slavery. The Republicans wanted to abolish slavery. It passed. Then you track a little bit further. In 1874, I want to say, the Speaker of the House was a black man named Hiram Revels, right? Speaker of the House, Republican. I'm like, what? I never heard this in Black History Month. So forward to Lyndon B. Johnson creating a welfare state. The black community was conservative up until that point. When Lyndon B. Johnson created a welfare state, essentially they invested $1 trillion and went door to door. They went door to door to convince these people that you need to remove the father out of the home. You need to essentially marry the government, and we'll take care of you. And it worked. It worked to no avail. And from that point on, that's when the community really, really went down. And from there, their failed policies kept plaguing the black community. I mean, Joe Biden created a crime bill. I mean, I know a lot of my uncles, cousins, family members was affected by this crime bill, mass incarceration. Like, all these failed policies is what we weren't educated on and basically not told by these politicians. And it killed the black community. But then, the first Republican I ever seen really challenge the black community was Trump. And Trump basically said, I want to speak to all the black community and say, hey, you've been voting Democrat for 80 years. What have you gotten for your vote? Nothing. So give me a try. Give me in the Republican Party a try. And if you look at over the past couple of years, Trump is converting people in droves.
Yeah.
Droves. But it's these old establishment Republicans that want to say, oh, no, you can't. You was a Democrat before, you can't ever be a Republican. And to them, I say, okay, so what if someone was an alcoholic and they became so? What if someone was an atheist and they became Christian? What if someone was, any other change in behavior and growth you will choose to acknowledge? Just one of the arenas where we'll say, no, you can't ever do that. And I think if that's the best thing you can say about me as a candidate, that, oh yeah, he used to be a Democrat. Well, Trump was a Democrat too. Ronald Reagan was a Democrat too. But their change in commitment was accepted. And as far as the smear campaigns, so these political action committees are becoming a severe detriment to our communities. They are spending hundreds of thousands of dollars smearing grassroots candidates because they're not backed by the establishment, and they are not good for our community. Like, why would anyone believe any glossy mailer or thing that shows up to their house?
Marvin, let me ask you. I want to ask you a question, Marvin.
Yes.
Do you think that there's how does that happen? Because, we have a local, used to be county commissioner who's now a state representative. And to me, it's, we never had this type of involvement from Tallahassee. We never had this type of involvement from outside of Hernando County. And to me, it's just a, citizen looking from the outside looking in. It's like, wait a second. Jeff Holcomb is now a representative in the Capitol. And now all of a sudden we're getting all this attention from the Capitol in a smear campaign towards Marvin. Right. And we all know that they're all buddies. It's like, are you guys putting these puzzle pieces together? When Marvin says the establishment, when Marvin is saying, these political action committees, that's what happens. We vote these guys into the county, we work them up the ladder, and we don't vet them. And if you guys listened to my episode on Hernando County politics before, I told you guys how my personal interaction was with Jeff Holcomb. And you could put, any politician could put on a smile, but when you're behind closed doors and you're an asshole, that's who you really are.
Yeah. And James, so go ahead.
No, it's okay. I'll add my later on.
Say it.
I saw John Alaco he was having a dispute with one of the other commissioners, and he was an asshole.
Right.
Plain and simple. Like, right. I was like, I don't want an arrogant person representing me.
I don't like, that dude, that
it's arrogant.
That Chad attitude, you know what I'm saying? Hernando County. Y'all know that guy that, who always trying to one up you and always trying to make you feel like he's dominant and smarter and better and you're dumb and all that and condescending. That's how this dude's talking to people out there, straight up. And I know you guys don't see it, but it's happening. And you really could judge people on how they interact with other people.
I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the sheriff, that they may have been brought on with good intentions.
Right.
They had a good plan at some point, but at some point people become complacent in the jobs that they do, and then they don't hold people accountable, and then they don't represent who they said they were going to represent to begin with.
Sure. Well,
so that's why we need fresh eyes.
Yeah, fresh eyes.
And fresh ideas, and a second look at things that are being done already that we might want to, step back from a little bit and look at what should be taken as responsibility,
I just had a brain fart moment. Marvin, I just had a brain fart moment here, but it was a spark. All these notes that I wrote down, and one thing we didn't even talk about was the phrase conflict of interest, okay? And I'm going to bring something up that maybe some people might not want to hear, okay? And I don't mean to cut and derail the interview, Marvin, but this has to be said.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
And this is no disrespect towards John, because back in the day when he was doing his medical stuff and helping out the high schools and all that, he did do a lot of good work for us athletes. And, he did, like Andrea said, came in with good intentions, good values. But you went from a beautiful medical career to a real estate career, and then to politics, and then this mass development happens, and we have all of these real estate agents and developers and these groups of people that are now in the office for county commissioners, and they're making decisions that directly and indirectly benefit their personal financial gain.
Right.
And how about these donations from these people?
And the donations to me are wild. You see it all. Deeb Construction, Foster's Roofing, all the same companies donating to all the same candidates, right? And then you drive down Mariner Boulevard at the YMCA and you see a big ass sign on the front that says Deeb Construction. And you wonder what the heck is going on with that.
There a lot of the people who are smearing Marvin right now are complaining about him funding his own campaign, but at the same time you got developers and real estate agents donating to current commissioners. What's the conflict of interest here?
And then getting backdoor deals.
Right. What's the conflict of interest? I don't see a problem with somebody funding their own campaign.
Right. And let's segue into that. That's a great segue, Andrea, because, and I want Marvin to explain this. And for the viewers watching, a lot of you don't know who Dave Ramsey is. When I walk into a store or anybody says to me, "Hey, how are you doing?" I always say to them, "I'm better than I deserve." And I got that phrase from a wise man named Dave Ramsey. And if y'all don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he teaches financial freedom. And if you don't understand what financial freedom looks like Marvin Baynham showing up to a campaign event in his old beater car that's old and paid off.
Yep.
And not in debt. And and then wonder how did this black man come up with this money? And that's what it looks like. If it was nobody asked Ryan where his money came from.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like let's put it out there.
Absolutely.
Like where did your money come from? So we'll talk about that, Marvin.
So when I first came into this campaign, James, I knew that I had to fully commit 100%, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, everything, no stone unturned, right? I had to commit. And it costs money to reach low information voters. It costs money to reach the voters because the voters just, they aren't engaged. So these mediums is how you can reach them and to get your message out to them. So I said, hey, I spoke to my wife. I said, hey, I have this money. We know we've been saving this money. We have this money. I'm going to put it into the campaign. She said, do you believe in yourself? I said, absolutely, I do.
Uh-oh.
Well, she said, if you don't risk the money, you better be out there working. That's the thing I asked. So I put $96,000 of my own into this campaign. And like you said, James, I drive, my vehicles I have is 2000 GMC Yukon. Oh wait, my video.
We're having slight technical difficulties. We can see you and hear you, Marvin.
Yeah.
Okay. So my vehicles I have a 2000 GMC Yukon that has 250,000 miles on it. It runs great. The transmission slips every now and then, but who cares? I mean, I own it. It's paid for. I don't care. I got a 1995 Buick LeSabre, paid for, 127,000 miles. My wife has a 2013 Nissan Sentra, paid for. We don't have no debt. Our only bill is a mortgage. I worked hard in my career at the fire department, make a good salary there. So we live within our means. We're not fancy. We're not flashy people. So we live within our means. So I'm able to save and to have extra capital in order to do things I want to do. I could have went out and bought a $100,000 Mercedes Benz. I did not.
And you are also a follower of Dave Ramsey, correct?
Yeah. So essentially, Dave Ramsey transformed my entire financial landscape, and he segued me into financial freedom. I didn't know. No one in my family knew about finances. Taught me about it. I heard about this guy Dave Ramsey one day. I started following his books, studying his habits, and basically he said, it's behavior. Saving money and becoming financially free is behavior. And if you can have the right behavior, 80% behavior, 20% knowledge, anybody can become financially free. So when we first wanted to become homeowners and wanted to start really becoming financially free, we adopted the 50-30-20 plan. 50% goes to your bills, 30% to pleasure, 20% to savings. We put it on autopilot. We let it just automate. And when we bought our first house, we had $20,000 saved. And I was working entry-level firefighter. She was working as a teacher. So we wasn't these big time earners, but we just committed to the process. And if you look at it statistically, most millionaires are normal people. Most people that become millionaires are normal people. They just have you. When you
see them out in public, you wouldn't even know they were a millionaire.
No,
because they live between their means.
Yep.
Right. And that was another thing just to create, they say, oh, he's funded by dark money. He's funded by George Soros. He's funded by all these other fake things. Prove it. Prove who I'm funded by. I submitted
all those offshore accounts and secret accounts and 45 LLCs and deep construction.
Who would give? That's the questions that people should be asking. Who would give a first-time candidate $100,000 to say, hey, just go blow my money? You have no chance of winning. We don't know what you're doing. You don't know anything about this. You're just getting into this. Just go blow my money. Just go waste my money. Why wouldn't they give that money to my opponents or give it to the other commissioners?
Right. And why would they make you do all this research and bump up your knowledge about everything?
You know what I'm saying? You would not see me out campaigning. You would see me nowhere talking to nobody because they would have everything laid out on a platter for me if I was, funded by them. So
listen, Marvin, we got to talk about the community. And Andrea brought up a great point in our conversation. So I want her to talk to you about this next topic.
Which one?
All of this.
All right. So with the growth of the community as it develops, we haven't really seen a lot of things in regards to the school zoning. And what are your ideas going forward as far as school zoning goes with growth and other areas that we could focus on with growth and better upkeep? Because like the center of Brooksville is a lot of focus right now. I see a lot of events, a lot of things going on in that area. The upkeep, they got volunteers happening all throughout that area, but I see the fairgrounds not being upkept. We got the Spring Hill area that is not being upkept, and things of like that. And something about was with a community center.
Yeah. So years ago, I remember seeing these plans for like a community center, a cast circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were going to completely demolish it all, put up an amphitheater, outdoor, farmers market type area, shops with apartments over them. It was a beautiful plan. And we think that Spring Hill needs a community type center. Because we haven't, when Spring Hill was developed, it was for, people to retire, people to play golf, and people to transit from Tampa to, work in Tampa. Now people are living local. We actually have a community, but we don't have a place for us to congregate. We don't have that outside of the Brooksville area. And do you think there's room for that type of development? So touch on the schools first, and then we'll go into the community development.
So the schools part goes back into infrastructure, right? Ensuring that we have the proper infrastructure to support all this growth, communicating with the school board, working together with all our interlocal governments, the city of Brooksville as well, too, to ensure that we're developing and we're going for our future, we're going in the right direction. I mean, my daughter goes to school and the lines are wrapped literally around the street. You have to pull off to the side and it's backed up. So like you guys are saying, this is some challenges that needs to be addressed. But working with those interlocal governments to remedy these challenges is the problem. We have to have tough conversations. We have to understand how they're going to be funded and also get feedback from the community. Maybe someone in the community has a great idea. And this is why I think empowering the people becomes essential. Empower the people and say, hey, anybody in the community got any ideas on how we can do this? Somebody could have came from another place that implemented a great idea. And maybe it don't cost anything to do it.
Yeah. But, John pointed that out too about ideas from the community. And I love that both of you guys, are focused on getting ideas from the community, because a lot of times, like you got the commissioner sitting on the board right now, and they're not asking the people. They're not out here asking, hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, listen, I reached out to John personally through email, through personal messages, just to talk. And, we got ghosted. Yeah, these commissioners don't want to talk to anybody, and we're tired of it. And I love how you, like Andrea, just to mirror what she said, it really is refreshing when candidates come to you to decide. Because Marvin's come to us. Hey, guy, how am I doing? What do I need to work on? What can I do to help you? And who do I need to talk to in the community? That was when Marvin asked me that question, it really showed me that he's caring, because he was like, he didn't want to leave any stone unturned. We're talking, this man wanted to go Forest Oaks, Timber Pines. Where's the hidden nursing home behind the corner that nobody knows about, but in Brooksville, and where's the trailer park over there? I mean, you see this man walking around trailer parks asking people, what can we do for you? And I think Alaka would be goddamn if he walked through a trailer park. He ain't getting his shoes dirty.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, and I think that's what we have to do. And essentially what I want to do is give the power back to the people. I want to understand, what vision does the citizens of Hernando County have for themselves? I'm your representative, but it's not solely up to me to make that decision. If you give me, say, hey, we would like a community center, right? So now we got to start from the top. Okay, the citizens would like a community center. What is the best means, the most fiscally responsible, the most responsible to the environment, all these boxes we need to check to get you what you need to do. And you never know, somebody might say, hey, you know what? I have land over here that I'll donate. Get some local builders involved in donating it. That's what we have to do as a community to solve these problems. It doesn't have to always be through raising taxes and through paying tax money. That's not always the answer.
I'm okay with doing sideways deals with Deeb Construction if they're doing stuff for the community.
Maybe if we wouldn't ask these, maybe they'd be willing to do it. You never
maybe
know.
there's other
We didn't
companies out there that maybe there's a small construction company, these local guys, these local builders, the Laracas and Schraders of the community that they've been held down by these big guys.
Yeah.
Right.
And
what if we got all of them to team up? Everybody bring a brick, everybody bring a brick. We get a couple bricks, and now we got a community center,
we open it up for competition, right? We open it up for competition with other builders and developers. And maybe that $20 million bridge in Brooksville could have really cost us $10 million if we had, multiple bids out there. So with the money and all that, the school board, how can you as the county commissioner get the, school zoning and funding? What are some things that you can do to affect that? Because, we need at least one more high school, one more middle school, one more elementary school. We know that. So how do we what's Marvin's plan to get high school, middle school, elementary school in Hernando County?
So essentially the school board they have their own internal plans and they have their models and where the schools are needed. They're constantly trying to shift, metrics and shift busing and whatever they can do for right now, add additions to certain schools. So essentially what my job is to do as a county commissioner is to work in concurrency with them, just support them on what they need and just ensure these decisions we're making make sense. They make sense. They can be actually achieved and be mindful of the tax dollars. We can't, it's a happy medium between getting things done and then raising taxes. We all conservatives and we don't want to have Hernando County. People already paying a lot of taxes in Hernando County. We don't want to add to that tax burden. So for some ideas to get things done.
I have a question in regards to you assisting in the school board. Now the school board is the one who's over the busing, the bus compound and things like that, correct? Is there a way that, the county commissioner can assist them and, I don't know if there's pay issues or that, but I know they've been having issues with finding bus drivers and outsourcing those type of things. Is there something the county commissioner can assist them in getting those things done?
The county commission don't have jurisdiction over the school district. They have their own. They're essentially their own independent governing body, just as well as the city of Brooksville is their own governing body. But when we get together, we discuss these issues, and then maybe through state funding or these other different ways, the school district can get. We can advocate for them. Say, hey, we need. But really, we don't really have say in what goes on in the school district.
But do you have a way to maybe hold them accountable for maybe like lazy work? Like say, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. Say there's, the superintendent or there's stuff that the school board needs to work on, but they're dragging their feet. Every time you're meeting with them, it's the same story. Nothing's getting done. Does Marvin come in there and pull the commission, the superintendent aside and be like, hey, so-and-so, you got to get your act together. You got to make some movement. You got to what kind of leader behind the scenes are we going to see? Can we expect from Marvin? Because I know I'm a leader of my company, and if another leader around me is not doing right, I'm going to go up to them and be like, hey, you better tighten up, or I'm going to have to do something about it. I'm gonna have to.
It's so funny that you just brought that up. I was just leaving just in church today, and the message was basically correct, challenge, encourage. Right. So as leaders, everything that we speak from should be in truth and in love. I don't believe me coming on as a leader being divisive. I would like to assume that all leaders within their rights are trying to do the best thing for the community, right? But a lot of times what you don't see behind the scenes is other leaders are working against them for other political reasons, or any other thing, like they're being worked against. So, I mean, I know what you and Andrea stand for, right? And I know that if you are a part of anything, you're gonna give it your all. And if you're not giving it your all, it's something else underlying, right? So I would essentially go to them and say, hey, what are you trying to accomplish, and what's kind of stopping you from accomplishing this? Right. And then essentially just try to go be a liaison and try to be a good steward of getting them to the finish line. Maybe it might take me putting some personal capital, personal money into it, into some projects or small community events. I think we just everyone has to fully commit as leaders of the community and just get it done everywhere we can.
One of the things me and Andrea, we're always driving around the county. I mean, we all are. Everybody watching here, you're all citizens of the county. Mm-hmm. And I drive through other places in Pasco and Polk County and Hillsborough, and I see these beautiful parks and the upkeep and the way that their community is built. And I feel the name of our area is the Nature Coast. Mm-hmm. It used to be the Sun Coast, and it's the Nature Coast. And the more development we do, the less Nature Coast we had. Like you said, there's 47% of the land is protected. The majority of that is, out in your area, 19, that area that, but how can you, and what is your vision for the park system in the area, the upkeep with that, and is there anything commissioners can do with public transportation? Just thought of that too.
Yes. So for the parks, right? So with our community growing, we're going to become what's called a settlement community, and we'll be more available to more grants and different things that we can use to fund these other different projects. So that's a positive. That's a plus. But I think it goes back to with that part too. Let's understand how we can get each individual neighborhoods involved in becoming invested and bringing pride into their parks, right? So say Delta Woods Park, for instance, right? Say, hey, we're going to come and paint something at Delta Woods Park. Small contribution, and kind of the community adopts the park. We upkeep it. Maybe we donate some money for a basketball goal. Maybe we donate some money for a pickleball court, whatever it is. But community involvement is essentially the remedy to all majority of our problems.
What are you? Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Would you be, as a commissioner, would you get out there, maybe using social media? Hey guys, we're going to do a little fundraiser at the park. Would you do that?
I will be first, and I will commit my own personal money to it, because you have to lead by example. You have to lead by example. You have to be fully committed. And once people see you out there leading the pack, they'll be happy to come join you. But who have you seen in our community leading the pack?
Right. Well, I agree with everything that he said, because the city of Brooksville gets volunteers to come and clean up the area by the courthouse, but I don't see them outside of that area pushing parks, uptown or the parks out here in Spring Hill. I don't see them asking for volunteers to come do a community cleanup or paint or anything like that. They've only, United Way is amazing. They are great, but they can only do so much.
Right.
And they do a lot of stuff for the community, but I also, I don't see a lot of social media pushing, asking for volunteers. And a lot of times they have a set amount of people that they have and they reach out to.
Does the BOCC have a Facebook page, like an official Facebook page? And can they have one?
They have a county government page, like Hernando County government has a page, but the BOCC does not have a page.
Can we get, as BOCC member, can you get that page more engaged,
absolutely,
and more involved, and maybe start a community volunteer, like a coalition, like you said, when people step up and do stuff, it inspires everybody else to either, they got to look at themselves like, am I going to just sit here and be lazy, or am I going to help?
Well, it will also increase the morale in the community too, because since COVID, people have been out of touch with each other. I myself am one of those people. I alienate myself from people just because I'm so used to it now. And I think, for me, when I do things and I volunteer, it makes me feel better, and I'm more kinder and, more helpful. And I think it would increase the morale within the community if they feel like they're a part of something.
It's a really good point.
As humans, we all exist in harmony together,
Right.
So every moment that we can spend time with neighbors is a huge opportunity. And I even pose to people, what I'm going to do as a commissioner is I'm going to set up weekly meetings with residents, right? You and your spouse can come. We'll go get breakfast. You pay for it. But on the stipulation, it has to be small business. I don't want it to be games, things like that. So essentially, I'll sit down with them. I'll have a conversation. I want to know you on a personal level. I want to get to know you on a personal level, really connect and understand how I can better serve you as a citizen. Same thing with monthly town halls, right? I want to have monthly town hall meetings. I want to come to your community. I'm going to bring the information. I'm going to break it down. Because is complicated. I'm going to break it down in the simplest terms so my child can understand it. My 3-year-old can understand what I'm explaining. And that way, I spoon feed this information to you. I encourage you to be more confident to start to understand what's going on in this county. I'm also going to commit to 3 events a week, right? 3 events a week is 54 weeks in a year. That's 150 events I can attend with ease, right? With ease. And people say, oh, you won't have the time and all that. I've been campaigning for a year straight. I've been to every event. I've been out to farmers markets. I've been out to everywhere.
And you're working.
And I'm maintaining a full-time job, right? So I know it can be done. I know it can be done. For anyone to say it can be done, and essentially what that's going to do is we're going to set the example and set the standards, and then the people will not accept anything less after that. They'll be like, no, this guy did it. We don't want to hear no excuses. You can do it too. And that starts to swing the momentum, starts to build the morale, starts to build the camaraderie, and then our community uplifts just like that.
Man, that's good stuff.
I got a question about okay, when they do permitting and they put those little permit signs on properties and they put the dates of when these things are going to be held and stuff. And the signs are so little. So the community doesn't really ever get to see that and become a part of is there something that you guys can do as far as like more notifying, maybe bigger signage?
Yes. So I would like to this is my thought process on that, kind of a solution to that, right? So we have PHAC, Pasco Hernando State College, as well as Wilton Simpson Tech going to be developing. They have an IT class, IT partner, right? I would like to see us give the task to these, intern students to develop a website that centrally you find all the document for all these applications on one website. Like I said, it's very organized. It's very regimented to where you go to this site and it's almost like you shopping online, right? You click this link for all the new projects developing. You click this link for when it's going to go to the BOCC. You click this link for when it's going to planning and zoning, and it's spelled out. All the documents are there. So now people can go show up, and we want to make big signs. We want to create these big signs to where you pass by it, you see H123. You go to the website. Okay, where's H123? Now you look at the whole project, see who's building it, and just increase people's awareness and accessibility to these things.
I like that.
What are you
sign and make it super big, super post it, and make it standardize it. Standardize it. So whether it's a development in Merzarik Town, Hernando Beach, Watching, Brooksville, this is a process and this is the website to go to if you want to look up any development.
I like that idea. I really, really do.
I think it's great to engage the people.
I got so much stuff going through my mind that I wanted to talk to you about, Marvin. I mean, just so much. The community has so many questions. And I'm trying to keep my mind focused. When you become BOCC member, how does your life change? Do you go to part-time at the fire department? Do you stay full-time, burning the candle at two ends? Because, everyone said, if Marvin's a candidate and he's a firefighter and he's a member of the commissions, when the hurricane comes, Marvin's not going to be around. And I'm like, well, what the hell are you doing?
So James, this is the first time. This is the first time in my career. All right, I've been working at the fire department 7 years. This is the first time in my career that I experienced that being a firefighter is a negative thing. Like, right. I mean, people have been creating all type of narratives. Like, you can't. I've been campaigning and I've been working as a firefighter this whole time. My candle has not burned out. I've been fully committed. I've been more active than the BOCC people in the community.
Marvin, wait, I want to touch on something real quick. People might not know this about you, but you were a former NBA prospect. Is that true?
So I did play college basketball. I wouldn't call myself NBA prospect, but I was a pretty good college player. And I enjoyed it.
Had a illustrious career.
Yeah, I did. I played ball, and I think that's another thing too. Using that vehicle and that knowledge and that tool to give back. Right. I want to start hosting some annual basketball camps. Some annual basketball tournaments.
Your education. I think people would be really surprised to know what type of college education you have and what your degree is in, because I think it's important for the community to understand the type of man you are, because you could have gone to school for anything. What was your degree of choice, sir?
So my degree, I obtained a bachelor's of science in child and family development, and as well as emphasis in family systems and family structures. So, like I said, man, just from a kid, I just love people, and going through college, I just studied life cycles and all these different things of how humans evolve and what a community is essentially is. It's became a passion of mine, and how we can, in this time of dissent and division, how we can start to reach out as humans and come together. And it really starts with energy. Everything is energy and everything is intentionality. So I just try to fully give myself, commit to service. I mean, everything I did in my life has been attributed and contributing to service. And I love people. I don't know what to say. I just love people. I think humans are fascinating, and everybody is, everybody has a story, and regardless of their story, I mean, you still can heal. We still can connect in some way, shape, or form. We're connected. So yeah, that's just one degree was in, and I love the community.
I think it says a lot.
Yeah, especially running, being a county commissioner and having that degree behind you.
In a community.
Yeah, because that's essentially what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a whole community. You're dealing with people who have families and they have different types of backgrounds. And to be able to navigate between all of that is a great thing to have behind you.
And you want to know something I learned just through over the course of studying and serving in the fire department? People are not systems, right? You can't take the people of Hernando County, put them into an algorithm, and expect the solution to be spit out. That's going to be spelled out. No, everything is dynamic. You have essentially 5 different socioeconomic status and 5 different communities that you're kind of talking to and kind of catering to, right? Yeah. So understanding that what's going to be good for Hernando Beach might have a direct negative effect in this neighborhood and vice versa. So being fully in tune with each of those communities is important because they all have different needs. And understanding how to blend the vision of Hernando County into all those different communities is the science. That's the science and that's the art. And I think it definitely takes some work. It definitely takes some homework and some research. And really spending time with people, that's the start of it. After that, once you start to get people involved, you start to figure out that you have a lot of people in the community with resources. I mean, very knowledgeable people with skills from the past, people with financially money resources, people with commercial resources. Because when we did a cleanup in Brooksville a couple months ago, and people was like, "How are we gonna get this done? We have the money to do this." And I said, "Well, let me see." I called a guy with a dumpster company. Anthony at Discount Dumpsters. Adam, my buddy Adam, has a home renovation handyman type company, and we just got all together. One of my guys worked with the fire department. He had some hand tools, a couple chainsaws, and weed eaters. So we all just got together, got it done. And that's what it used to be. That's what community used to be about. We have to get back there.
Absolutely. Well, I think this is a slam dunk. You got this in the bag. I'm serious. You got it in. You already got my vote. I already put mine in.
we put a ballot in. And listen, it's tough to do an interview. it's a little biased, obviously, but we took the time to get to know you. And over the past year, you've taken the time to reach out to us, reach out to the community, and really put your character on display.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans of going to real estate school?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Do you promise that you or your wife will not become land developers or real estate agents in the next 4 years?
I promise.
Okay.
I promise.
It's important, man. Listen, to me, it just blows my mind.
Yeah.
It really does blow my mind that we got three real estate agents on the BOCC. Is that what it is?
I know 2 confirmed. I think it's 2.
Right.
What's the next level from county commissioner?
State representative. And he's a real estate agent too.
Well, Marvin, if you decide to go higher than county commissioner, you got my vote.
I think that's the goal. Is that the goal? Is that a long-term goal of yours?
Not really, man. I'm not a politician, and I just want to serve the community and get involved with Hernando County. I don't see a career for politics in my future. But at the same time, I'll be used as a vessel. I don't know what God has in store for me in my future. So I'll serve the community, and I don't know. We'll see.
You got kids. You're not trying to run around this.
Right. Yeah. I want to be president of my kids' life. Yeah. I ain't trying to, miss their heydays doing all this other stuff. No, they're young right now. My daughter is 6. My son is 3. So, they're a little still running around doing stuff. But once they get of age, I want to fully commit to them and, dance recitals and basketball camps and all things they're doing, activities they're doing.
We had an interview with Joe, and he was real happy with it. I know you're not running for sheriff, but I'm gonna ask a few questions. Does the BOCC? What is your interaction with the sheriff's department? Is there oversight? Is there checks and balances? How does the interaction between the two government entities work?
It's essentially just you basically approve the budget for the constitutional officers,
and then after that,
you really can't. Yeah, you really can't go and tell the sheriff nothing to do with his agency.
Can
they try to work together and have a good relationship, but ultimately don't have sex.
Do you think that they have conversations like, hey, Al, maybe it's a good idea to get some body cams? Like, do you think that's
that topic has been brought up numerous of times, and it seems that the sheriff is not on board with it. I've spoken to many of the deputies about it because I believe talking to the people that does the job, so if somebody came in the fire department and wanted to implement this new technology or new piece of equipment that was foreign, I feel that I understand that you have to go to the people and say, hey, well, when you get a fire at 3 a.m, how does this piece of equipment work? Like, how does it function? I might be able to tell you, well, because of this, because of that, this is why we choose to use this piece of equipment or that, so going talking to the deputies and getting their input, and then going speaking to the sheriff and getting his input, but also as I said, as stakeholders of this $897 million organization, the people have say. The people have say too. So I think we should be responsive to what the people want. Be responsive to what the people want, and as best as possible, make it happen.
So town hall type meetings, and like you said, doing 3 events a week. What would be your thoughts and maybe an expectation that you would put on yourself, or maybe I'm going to put on you, to maybe outside of a town hall meeting, adjusting the times of meetings so more people can attend or view? Maybe.
Or what about a platform where people can tune in via social
remotely
media?
Like watching these things
because there's a lot of elderly community that cannot get out of their home.
Get out, right?
They know how to use YouTube.
Some of them.
So I think I would definitely push for an evening meeting. Push for an evening meeting and just give people, because informed citizens is our biggest power, right? I want every citizen to be informed. I want scrutiny. I want James and Andrea to call me and say, Marvin, you're doing a bad job. You need to get better. I'm going to take that, criticism and say, hey, I will improve. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to say I have all the answers and know everything.
Right.
No, I think we have to practice humility and really become vulnerable and accessible. And if the citizens want something, give it to them. If you want evening meetings, I want to give you evening meetings. If it's going to be 300 residents in there, expressing their disconcern with what's going on in the county, I want to know. That's going to allow me to improve. That's going to allow me to get better. And like you said, I want to find a way to get to I don't want to give anyone a barrier to participation. If we got to find a way to get on YouTube, if we got to find a way to get on Facebook, whatever means in legal ramifications that we need to do, let's do it. Don't make excuses. Let's provide solutions.
Remember the count. Sorry, you said get it on Facebook, get it on YouTube, and it just dawned my mind. The county hack.
You're going to go towards transparency as far as okay. So like with the county hack and the courthouse system being hacked by that spam, whoever the heck these people were. What is your stance on being transparent with the community in regards to issues like that come about?
Right. So I feel that as a government agency, we need to practice humility, right? We don't need to portray this image that we got it all right. We have all the answers. We're perfect. We need to own up and say, hey, listen, we have it's some legal things in there, but we can talk to our attorney and say, hey, legally, what can we say about this?
Right.
We can put out a legal statement. I mean, basically, it just got brushed to the side like nothing happened.
Sure.
And still to this day, nothing was said about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to be able to own that and say, hey, we messed up.
I don't know. 911 system? Did their 911 system go down?
Like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think the 911 system, it did go down a couple days ago. It was down. It
might have been.
Now, do you guys oversee that? So the cyber security. So let's say cybersecurity for the county. Is that something you guys oversee?
It's in the clerk of court. It's under the clerk of court. The clerk of court is a constitutional officer, and the IT is under his umbrella.
That's Horvath, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna have to talk to him, and maybe we can get some local tech people. Like you said, reach out to the community. There might be local tech geniuses like, hey, have you upgraded your firewall system? And he comes in and is like, hey, you've got a, outdated firewall system. Listen, for our business, we have to we upgrade our firewall once every year.
Yeah.
We get the new best technology to keep ourselves protected. Yeah, it costs money, but cost benefit analysis, like, come on.
And then you got to think of if you think of the government, I mean, the county as a corporation, you got a whole bunch of people's information in your system that you don't want to jeopardize getting leaked. Even though some of it's public domain, doesn't mean that we want all our stuff out there freely. We count on the county to protect those things.
Well,
I agree.
It's a lot. Marvin, you're going to be, what's the plan for the next 2 days? You've got election day on Tuesday. So what's for Marvin tomorrow and Tuesday?
So tomorrow is essentially just talking to volunteers, trying to reach these last minute voters, get our volunteers order, figure out a strategy for polling locations, some sound waving, just the last final push.
I think maybe you should do a live again, another live, 15, 20 minutes, talk to everybody, put your face out there. And, we've got a final push. Everybody watching, you've got till Tuesday. You've got only Tuesday to vote.
Yeah.
Tuesday's it.
You've got to get people out there. We're expecting a huge turnout. Marvin is running against John Alaco. So remember the name Marvin Baynham. He's not a real estate agent. He's not in the pocket of George Soros. He's not a pro-abortion socialist Bernie Sanders plant. He is a Hernando County resident that likes to drive his ATVs and shoot his guns and have his kids have a good education.
And he's a family man.
He's a family man.
What all can you ask for? I mean, he's got some good ideas.
Yeah.
He's a fresh face to the community as far as the commissioner goes. I just think that he's very involved, and it's I think it's in the bag.
I think that after this interview, Marvin, people are going to be.
Well, you've shown a lot more of your humility.
Yep.
So I think that's important for the viewers to see.
I'm trying to think if there's any more tough questions we can ask, or anything you want to bring up, Andrea, or anything we didn't cover, because I think Marvin was pretty eloquent in all of his responses. And I think the community's biggest issue is they just don't know who you are, Marvin.
Right.
They know, and that might fear them. You know, John's been in the community for a long time. We're not taking anything away from him, but it's time.
Well, and I would like to add, Marvin's not out here smearing his opponent.
No, Marvin's just putting his record out there.
Absolutely. I mean, not one time. I mean, we may have mentioned John as a commissioner, but we haven't taken anything away from what he's done. I just think that we need a fresh face and fresh ideas.
Yeah, it's about time. I think he
did his 2, like he said.
He did his 2 terms.
It's time to go.
And with the 2 terms, what does that say? Deuces, buddy. It's time for you to go, John. We love you. Get back into the community. He can do a lot more with his medical profession for people than his real estate profession. And
absolutely.
Sorry, but we've all got real estate friends. We all have those people that 5 years ago they weren't real estate agents and now they are. So I understand, guys, that all of you want development. I get it. I get that your livelihood relies on the development of this county. But do you want this to be the Nature Coast, or do you want it to be Wesley Chapel 2.0? Do you want it to be Tampa 2.0? Because we've got the land for it, guys. Think about it. We don't even have a proper public transportation system. The bus is not cutting it.
And it is outdated AF.
the bus is not cutting it. The traffic is not cutting it.
Yeah.
We are developing, and it's time. When one of the best things that I've always heard Marvin say is we have to have responsible development, fiscally responsible. We got to take our time. We got to think about the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when we have board members that are real estate agents, not taking away anything from our real estate agent friends, but you guys got hands in things that are sideways. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if John or Beth or any of these people say, "Oh, I don't have anything going on." No, we don't do anything like that. Bullshit. Okay? We've seen it. We've seen the development. And anybody living in this county for 10 plus years has seen what's happened since y'all took over into the BOCC, and we're done.
Yeah.
We want our Nature Coast. Because of all of this development John and all of them have allowed to happen, we can't even get out of our freaking kayaks in the Weeki River anymore.
You can. You just can't.
You know what I'm saying?
Have your kayak on the dock, or
you know what I'm saying? They're regulating everything. They're bringing in these Gestapo. It's like they want to control everything. They want real estate buddies, and I saw it. I see all of my real estate friends, all 150 plus of you. You guys are all for John, and I get that because it serves you as a real estate agent, but the rest of us ain't real estate agents. The rest of us are,
little Joe Schmo people just trying to get by.
Working scrubs. We're tired of sitting in traffic. We're tired of seeing all the development. We're tired of it all. I'll take this bitch back to 1985 if it was up to me. But we can't do that. So we got to be responsible. And we've got to get out and vote. Marvin, is there anything that you want to say to the community? Andrea, are there any questions or things you want to bring up to Marvin? Because I think we covered it all.
I think we covered it all.
I really think we did. I think that Marvin hasn't left any stone unturned. And Marvin, do you think there's anything that the citizens want to hear that we didn't cover?
No, I think we pretty much touched on everything. I would just, pitch my message to everybody up there. My pledge is Vote for the guy that risk it all. I'm not showing up and saying I have all the answers. I'm portraying that I'm the savior. But what I will promise you, I'm going to give this community 150% in my effort. I'm going to always act in your best interest. I'm going to empower you. So that's the individual that I would trust moving forward with this community, considering the things that happened in the past. I mean, what are we're going to continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results? That's the definition of insanity. I think the people of Hernando County are very intelligent. They want to see something different. They want to see something better. Give me a shot. You will not regret it.
Give him a shot. That's what we're gonna give him an applause for that too. And
awesome.
We'll give him an awesome. Marvin, thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Andrea, you're clear with questions. We've asked them the hard-hitting questions. Yeah. Marvin, I hope you have a great Sunday. We pray that you get in there, and when you do get in there, I want all the citizens to know that I'm gonna be riding Marvin hard. I'm gonna be on it once, making sure that he is. I think as your friend and as a leader in the community, it's my responsibility to, now that I have this connection with you, to do that.
Absolutely. And I welcome it.
Iron sharpens iron, and we're going to work together to communicate with the community. I think, Andrea, that was the best point Andrea brought up, is getting the community involved, showing these voting things, having town hall meetings, meeting with the folks. I went to vote yesterday, and there was this elderly gentleman, and he said to the lady, he's like, well, what do I do when I don't know who to vote for? And the lady at the voting booth said, well, just leave it blank.
Well, because
I know
legally we're not allowed to give you any type of
right. But he was uninformed.
Right.
He was an uninformed citizen.
And well, what I would have done, I would have referred him to the supervisor of election on the other side of the building.
Right.
And they could point him in the right direction and giving him information on each candidate.
That would have been the detailed answer.
That's what I would have.
But Andrea wasn't working that day.
That's why we need more Andrea serving at those voting polls.
Yeah, she'll be there. Yep. Are you there on Tuesday?
Yeah.
She's there on Tuesday.
All day.
And
I'll
then
be in Wiki-Wachi.
She'll be there for the presidential election.
Yep. Signed up for it too.
Great.
And you're okay admitting, as a strong black man, that you are supporting Donald Trump.
1,000%. 1,000% Donald Trump. And you're gonna see, mark my words, you're gonna see Donald Trump break a record when it comes to the black vote. I mean, his messaging and his commitment. I mean, opportunity zones, funding for HBCUs. He's showing our community that he's really invested and he's committed to giving us a space in America. So you'll see a good surge in Donald Trump support from the black community.
I love it. Marvin, thank you again for coming on with us. After the election, when we get the results, when you win, we're gonna enjoy coming to your campaign party.
I appreciate it. Look forward to it.
All right, bud. Have a great night.
Good night. Good day.
Good day. You still got a long day.
All right, y'all take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.